but we want to kind of go over some basic things and talk about some things you can do. I know I went to a conference last summer and I was looking at some of the topics for the conference sessions, and some of them were kind of interesting. There were things like, they gave me this iPad, now what? You know, and so I know some of us kind of felt that way. I myself have a Windows background. I've done Windows computers. I've not been an Apple person. I never had a Mac. You know, I did get an iPod a year or two ago. So I've had to deal, you know, a little bit with that. But I even have a Windows phone. You know, most people don't even know they exist. You know, everybody else has either an iPhone or an Android. I have a Windows phone. So I'm struggling a little bit with this move to Apple and iPad. But, you know, if I can do it, you can do it. And I'm old. You know, so you young people are supposed to be able to adjust to the technology. Couple of words, and I'm going to turn it over to Theresa in a minute, but a couple of words about some basic things that we're doing. I'm actually using a couple of things, and we'll see how technology works here. You always know that there's a glitch sometimes, especially when you're using new stuff. In a new location, because, you know, I set this up, it works at my house, I come here, it'll see, you know, it actually works here. I am displaying, actually, I have two things. I have a tablet computer back there that we're actually running PowerPoint off of, but I am controlling it from my iPad, at least hopefully. And so, yes, work. So I'm using an application called Splashtop. It's a little tricky as far as you download Splashtop onto your computer. So it's downloaded, the Splashtop streaming is on my little computer over there. And then you download an app to the iPad. They got me this time because it said it was free when I downloaded it to the computer, but then when I went to download the app was $4.99. Okay, so I said, okay, I'll pay them $4.99. Of course, those add up after a while, especially when you're me and you're trying to trial these things for the teachers. So I need to talk to somebody and see if I can get some funds. So for all these things, I keep trying and purchasing to see how they work. But it does allow me, I can be out in the classroom with my laptop, controlling what I'm doing up there. And I'll show you. So there are a number of different things you can do as far as display. You can display your iPad using what they call a dongle. You have one up there, don't you?
Tether.
Right. This will hook to your VGA cable. You can hook this into your iPad, hook that to the VGA cable, but you can't walk around with it. But it works, and you don't rely on any wireless technology or have to add any kind of special things. So that works. I know some teachers that have found that it works pretty well just putting it under the elbow. If there's something they want to do it, they just put it under the elbow, and it will work that way pretty well. I also am going to show you in a moment when I get out of PowerPoint and actually start doing some stuff on the iPad. I'm using something called Air Server, which will display my iPad onto the screen. It won't right now because it's got PowerPoint running. And then there's another one that a lot of teachers at the high school are using called Doceri, which is a lot like Splashtop. Some of them get a little pricey. I think it's like $30 each. So it would be like $30 per classroom. But it's my understanding at the high school, the grant is going to purchase that for each teacher so that they can use there. Because at the high school, each teacher has an iPad to use in the classroom. Every school did things a little differently. So I realized that in a lot of the elementary schools, you're going to have just a cart with 20, 30 iPads, and you're not going to have one in your room all the time. So we have to realize differences.
Can I say something about the Siri real quick? I use the Siri a lot. The thing that I don't like about it, I like it. It works. It doesn't crash. It works well. And I also use Splash Top, and I like that one too. But the thing I don't like about those Siri is sometimes it lags, like it's buffering, and you'll see the little thing blinking. And it's kind of bad if you have kids that are going to have seizures or something from like a stroke-like type of effect. Because it's like when you hook a smartboard up and you're not doing it right, and it looks kind of like this. So the Siri does do that, and if you're sensitive, it may,
Yeah. But the Siri will allow you, if I'm
Ms. Beavers, Ms. Top 1410, Ms. Beavers, Ms. Top 1410.
draw on it, like, so you can be out here and it becomes your whiteboard. And so you can interact with it from out here. You know, I'm operating, but I'm not writing on this thing. So, yeah, well, let me try to finish. A couple of other things that if you're used to Windows and regular computers, that you get some of your first shocks, and you get this iPad, and you do something, you say, how do I get this? Because there's no place to plug in a printer to this, and there's no USB port you can't put your thumb drive in this thing, and so it boggles some of our minds that we're used to different ways. In the schools, we're going to have a little difficulty with the printer. You can buy, if you have a relatively new printer at home, it may be AirPrint capable. Most of the new printers are, but most of our old printers in the schools are not. So that is going to be an issue. You're probably going to have to transfer your files to something else and print. That's going to be your best bet.
I need your attention, teachers, please. I apologize for this interruption, but I need your attention, please, at this moment. All teachers, Rowe Middle School teachers, for your report cards, as you are continuing to work on those and getting your final averages calculated, please make sure that you double check.
You're going to have to transfer the files. So we're back to that issue. We're going to show you
who you gave
methods that you can use to transfer
please
files.
Make sure that you double check the semester
to
grade
things.
For all
so we'll get to that.
students
We'll get to that later.
To. We want to make sure
Notice
that
it says the good news is there's over 300,000 apps that you can use in this process.
So please double check that. Thank you very much. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to give me a call.
That's the good news. The bad news, there's over 300,000 apps. And you start looking for apps, there's too many. I actually, rather than going to the App Store on iPads and looking, I am finding better luck Googling and to find out what other people have found are good apps and then go try them. Because if you just try to look at all the apps, there are too many. So you go to a conference or you get a list of what people have used. So, and we're going to give you several lists or make those available. It comes with some, and I'm not going to go through all these. We don't have time. As a matter of fact, we're going to show you where to get this PowerPoint. Actually, I cut this PowerPoint down from something I was given at a conference just last month, I guess, in November. And we're going to give you the link to that. You can download the entire PowerPoint and look through these things. But it comes with these things. These are some Apple apps that would be great if you had them. I have only downloaded one, but these are pretty much paid apps. You can pay these. I think GarageBand was cheap, like $4.99 or something, so I went ahead and bought it. I'm $4.99 myself to death on these things, I believe, and I want iMovie too, and some of these others, but I haven't done that yet.
Those are in the volume pricing. Some of them aren't, but those particular ones you just mentioned you get for half off. You have a voucher.
Yeah, if the schools are, will purchase them for the things, then we can do that. But if you're just like me, you want to try it, you get it yourself.
Hey, Jeff, a couple of years ago, a bunch of us went to the, back when they used to have the media consortiums, and they don't anymore, There's a website, and I'm sure you can just Google it and figure it out, but there are daily, discounts for apps, like if just certain ones are discounted on certain days. Sometimes you can get them for free or 99 cents or something, normally they're $13, $14 that are just on special for that day.
Yeah, they run sales.
You could watch that every day and just, see what happens.
I think that's for in my Mac, but it has Mac apps, but they have it for iPhone.
Can I ask you something? You said,
Yeah.
I was talking to literacy coach, and we were wondering if I bring my personal iPad, can I sync it to the school?
No, that's not a good idea.
No.
If they pay for the apps and you haven't, you pay for apps and they haven't, technically we run into legal issues there. So that's probably not a good idea. A lot of the things that you're seeing right here are free. And so, yeah, I said, you can get this whole PowerPoint. I'm going to show you where this is in a minute. And a lot of these are free on this particular page, maybe all of them. And I'm a Google Chrome person. I don't, not Internet Explorer. I have Internet Explorer. I have Firefox. I have Google Chrome. I have another one called Opera. I have Safari. I have 5 different browsers to choose if I want to, but I use Chrome as my default. You can get that on here as well.
And then Dropbox, I'm sorry.
Yes.
Dropbox you can put on your computer in school. You can have it on multiple computers, and you can just save things in Dropbox, and it'll end up on your computer in school. It's pretty awesome.
We're going to talk about
it's pretty much going to use my pen drive anymore because of Dropbox.
And that's one of the primary ways that you can transfer files without the USB. We're going to talk about it.
Because I'm always looking for my pen drive, and now I don't have to search for it
I'm
anymore.
always losing it. But the advantage here, and this was blocked for a while, but it's not blocked now. But with Dropbox, and I have that, I also have Google Drive and SkyDrive, and I tried all 3 of them. But they all basically do the same thing. But with Dropbox, you have to have the program installed on the computer and set up with your particular username, whatever. And so the reason I like Google Drive, and that for you that may be fine because you're only at your classroom computer and at home computer. But I move around to all the schools, and I never know where I might want a file. I go, that file is on my computer at home, that file is on my computer in the office, but I'm out here. I can log into Google, sign in with my Gmail account, and there it is. If I've stored it in Google Drive, and I can pull it from any computer in the world. And we're going to talk, Evernote will do some things like that too. So she's going to talk about that too. So I've got stuff all over. As a matter of fact, to not get into your stuff, but I do something on Evernote, it goes to that computer, it goes to my computer at home, and it goes to the computer in office, and it goes to my phone. So, I did my Christmas list, and, I actually did a web form, a Google Doc, sent it to all my family, my kids and my wife and my daughter and son-in-law, had them fill out their Christmas list. It all goes there, and I can access it from my phone, from anywhere, and when I'm out shopping, I have to do that. But when I'm out, if I wanted to, I can access their lists at any time. Yeah, while I'm on any computer anywhere in the world, I can shop around. All right, so how many of you, and I'm thinking we might be able to skip some of just the basic parts because there's some other things we'll do. How many of you, is there anybody that just like never touched one before? And I'll talk about that. Okay, I think we're not going to go over the buttons and all that kind of stuff. There are some things. I'm going to skip. Matter of fact, I may decide to just get out of this and go to something else. Let me explain about this. How many of you have heard of Edmodo?
Yes.
Okay, just a few. All right. Edmodo It's not. And so some people are kind of like, oh, we don't need that, I won't click on that. But you can use it as a classroom website type thing. Now, I know we've got several other options on websites, but you can use it as a classroom website. You can communicate with kids. You can upload stuff. They can access it. You can communicate. We had, I'm trying to remember, it was a high school teacher, I think, the other day that had left some assignments on Edmodo. She's using it all the time. She was out for the day, had a sub in the class. She was at the doctor's, and something came up that was either the link was wrong or something, you know, and they were able to get in touch with her through Edmodo. And I haven't done the texting part, but you can put information and communication stuff in there, and when the students send a message to you, it comes to your phone. They don't know your phone number, and you don't know theirs. But it will send messages back and forth without either one of you knowing each other's phone number. So it keeps your number secure, but you can get messages. So this teacher guy was sitting in the doctor's office waiting and got a message about something on Edmodo, and she was able to go on her phone and fix it and send it back, and class went on. All right, so Edmodo, you join, it's free, and there's actually a couple of things here. This is actually mine, which I haven't used much. I'm just kind of getting started on this, but I have uploaded some stuff, and I also have joined Theresa's group, which is training for teachers, which pops up there. This is what she's doing for training with her own middle school teachers.
Actually, it could be anybody in the system.
Yeah, and we're gonna. And what is your code? Do you know?
Let me get the code. Hold on for it. I have the actual link to invite on this one. But
Yeah, if you've got that little QR code page, if you picked that up already, you can scan it. But for mine, if you want to write it down, the group code is up here. It's AKPNRI. When you create an account, and it'll ask you want to join a group. If you join that AKPNRI group, and I think I have to approve it. Excuse me, that's R1. I'm sorry. Did I say I? That's AKPNR1. I think I have to approve that, so there may be a little time lag, and then you get in. But, okay, yours, she actually has more stuff on her site right now than I do.
Is this something you would recommend for parents? We have a lot of email parents back and forth.
Yeah, especially if you wanted to get more than email and even into the texting type thing, because I think you can get text back and forth.
Does it do that
without them knowing your phone number?
Parents can put their phone number in, and it'll send text.
Send text. If they would like to get text.
There's this in Schoology, but this is the one that we learned about. So.
Oops, that was mine. Let me go back to hers. And you'll see in the folders here, she has a number of things in the folders. I only have like 2 or 3 folders in mine. I actually have shared a couple of folders with this group, so you get my folders either on my site or hers.
Go to the library and you'll see them. What you share.
Yeah.
That looks like
so you see different things. This is the ones I have one that's just a list of iPad apps. It says iPad apps up there. That's actually a list that I stole from Kay Sherrick at East Central. She did a lot of work looking up different iPad apps for each one. It's heavy on the ELA. She's a literacy coach. It's a little heavy on the, there might be 4 or 5 science and social studies. But anyway, you would expect that. And then there's some other things I'm going to show you. But actual PowerPoint. Yeah, down at the bottom here, iPads in the classroom. That's actually the full PowerPoint that I got at the conference. That has even more than what I've shown you. It goes into some other stuff. Probably you don't even want to know. It's probably too much information. So, but the whole PowerPoint that I have is there. And some other there's apps for SS, for social science. And there's another one, apps for science that's just specific that has some. But you can Google these things and you get all kinds of great ideas for different apps.
Well, you can get feed. What I do is I have it in you can use Google Reader or a feed reader, and you can have specific blogs, like you search for iPad apps, sent to your feed reader, and then you open the app for that, which is like Feeder or Google Reader, and you get those articles in that place, and then you say, oh, look, this is a page full of iPad apps for mathematics.
Sort of like Twitter,
I like it.
Yeah.
follow whatever you follow. You're going to take out the music.
So when you join, if you will, create an account in Edmodo and join one of our or both of our groups, then you'll be able to access all this stuff. And that way we can be somewhat paperless. We didn't, you can just download it at home.
Can we do that now?
Yeah, you've got access. You can do it now.
If you're on a wireless
Well, okay, so I am on Edmodo, but then I was trying to download, so I have to create an Apple iPad.
No, you have to create an account in Edmodo. There's an app for iPhone and for
Or are you downloading the Edmodo app?
Yeah, you can't do that on a school iPad because
Just go to the internet.
Yeah, I was on Safari.
Okay, and just go to edmodo.com.
Uh-huh.
And don't download the app. Just go to edmodo.com and sign up.
and then make that into your home page. You understand? You can actually any internet site on your page. It's like the whole-
I think I'm going to turn it over to Theresa now, and then we'll come back later.
Evernote. Remember Jeff said something about being able to access his files anywhere with Google Drive? Well, you can access Evernote anywhere too, because you just need to go to the Evernote website and sign into your account. Evernote is good if you are like me and you like to organize things in folders so that you can use it for your lessons, and if you want to clear it out, because I do not like a full desktop. You can get rid of it when you're not using it. But what I will do is if I have an assignment for class, because I'm working on my specialist in instructional technology, then I'll put like a folder for that class and I'll just dump stuff in there. And I dump stuff in there using a clipper, but I'm getting ahead of myself. You can sync it across all devices. So it's not specific to iOS, which is the iPod, iPad, iPhone. Windows or Mac, doesn't matter. I have a lot of screenshots of this. So basically you go to Evernote and say you want to download it to, most people have PCs. So if you have a Mac, or a Mac, iMac, you can also get it for the Mac. Here's your URL, but I do believe I have enough QR codes that you don't have to write this down. And you can download a QR code scanner to your iPhone, your Android, just whatever, and it'll open up in your phone where you need to go to download the stuff. The App Store. Smartphones. Yeah, it has a Nokia, BlackBerry. It's on every device. Windows Phone, Jeff.
Hey.
iPhone. Now, dizzy yet? Android. Okay. You can capture anything. You can save PDFs, Word documents, PowerPoint, Excel, Google Drive, web articles. You name it, you can save it. Sometimes it'll attach as a link, and sometimes it'll actually embed the document. For example, you can see I saved the middle school Common Core as a PDF. I have a lot of folders. This is a PDF that's embedded. This is my course program for the IT that I'm just using any example I can find. So here's an article save it to Evernote by clicking Save to Evernote, because a lot of these programs that you have apps for, like the Feeds or like Zide or other ones, when you open the little share thing, you know how it has like a little arrow? If you don't, there's a share button. It will say, where do you want to save this? And Evernote in a lot of these apps is an option. So I'll save it. You can, and Dropbox is an option in many of them too. Yes?
How much data would be captured in Evernote?
Well, I have a premium account that I paid for in
Okay,
2010.
see, I don't have a premium account.
I think it's a couple gigs, like the same, because I think most of them are like 2.
They only allow you, and this is a drawback with me, you can upload 1 gig a month.
A month.
A month.
But then it restarts.
Yeah. So if you try to upload it, and I kind of went crazy with it the first time, was down doing pictures and stuff, and yeah, and I got to my limit, and they said, sorry, you can't upload anything else for 14 more days.
And mine is 10 gigs.
So you can keep all that on indefinitely, right?
Yeah, if you want to trash it. If you want to sit it there, it's fine. It's per month.
There's
So
no limit.
I haven't experienced a limit yet, have you? And I've had it since 2010.
But you both have premium accounts?
No, I don't have premium. That's why I'm limited to one gig.
I decided I was in love with this, so I bought it.
And how much is this the premium?
I don't know how much it costs now, but in 2010, I got a special deal.
It's like
Yes.
$10, wasn't it?
It was cheap, but now it's gone up. You can take a picture and make a new note, or you can pull one from your camera roll. The cool thing about Evernote is you can take a picture of a paper, like a document, and it does this text recognition thing. And what it does is it turns it, you'll see this, it says, using the page camera. It turns it into something that actually looks like a, black-line master document. This was a very shady picture that didn't take with the flash, and this is how it came out. It was something I took during Justin's Weeblo meeting. And I needed to have it, and they didn't have an extra copy. I said, oh, wait, I have my iPhone. Let me take a picture and save it into Evernote. And that's how it turned out. Audio. Let's say you like to annotate your notes. You want to make yourself a little note of what the note is. You can actually record, or what I do at these conferences, and I don't get the best sound quality, but I actually set up to record the sound as I'm taking notes. And like I said, if they move around the room, then I'm kind of out of luck, because it'll get quiet and then it'll get louder again as they come closer, but you can annotate your notes. Okay, features. You can create new folders. You can move your notes, because what you do is where it shows what folder it's in, you just pull down the drop down and you can move the notes. How many of you tag your stuff? Tagging is kind of tricky, but if you tag right, it makes it so much easier to find things. So you kind of have to have in your mind what you want your tag to be, and you need to use it over and over and over again. I have something called, I've gone to a website called This Then That, and I will elaborate more on that in what I post, because it's kind of tricky, but you set up rules. For example, I live an hour away, so anytime there's going to be bad weather at the Weather Channel, I say, email me when it's going to rain. Email me when it's going to have snow or ice. But you can also say, email or send to Evernote any tweet that I favorite. If I put a check little star, then you can send it to Evernote. But it's really complex, and we don't have enough time to go over that, but I'd be happy to teach you how to use it. IFTTT, there's 3 T's.com. Right? If this, then that. Okay. You can send email to this account to save things to your Evernote folders. Let me give you a hint. Save it to your contacts. If you put an @ symbol in front of it, it'll create a folder with that name, like @tag would create a folder named tag. If you put a number sign in front of it, put a tag for you, which is the hashtag. So if you something with #hashtag awesome, it would create a new note containing the content of the email. So you would put it at the end, and then it would add to the folder named tag and tag it off.
So it's an automatic.
Okay, web clipper. How many of you have Pinterest? Pinterest? Okay. If you have Pinterest, a lot of you have that little pin it button, don't you? What? The little pin it button? Yeah. Where you can just pin stuff from your things. The web clipper is kind of like that. You add a bookmarklet. That's what they call this little elephant head. You add a bookmarklet, and anytime you're in an article that you want to save to Evernote, you click on it, and it will pull up. Hold on, I'll show you where it pulls up. And it gives me a choice of what folder I want to put it in. I can pull down the drop down. But in the web clipper, whatever it is that I have, I can click the full page, I can click the article, I can click the URL. Those are the three options. And it adds it to Evernote. So I go around looking at stuff for media programs, like books. I do this a lot with book reviews. If I want to read the book review later to see if I want to buy the book, I will do that. Clearly is another plugin, and it has this little lamp thing. And I like Clearly because what it does is it'll get rid of all the noise. It'll get rid of the ads on the side. But what I don't like about Clearly, and you can't always use it, is because sometimes it gets rid of important pictures or stuff. But if you are someone that wants to read just the content, and you don't want it to clip all the links, then you may want to download Clearly so you can read it without ads. And all this is going to be online in my training for teachers, so you can access this later. Okay, let's talk about a couple tools that you might want to use. Evernote Peak, how many of you use flashcards? You can turn your notes into study materials. It's like flashcards, great for reviewing concepts. And you can search their pre-made things as well. Okay, you don't need a smart cover. I see that Stephen has a smart cover, and that's about it. But I was thinking, even if you have a smart cover, you can cheat. So you can pick a virtual cover, and they'll even let you pick the color. And I picked blue. So this is a notebook that I downloaded. What you do is you see that little thing on the side, looks like a smart cover, but tiny. Pull it down with your finger, and you get this. And you could do spelling this way. You could do states, state capitals, anything that you need to memorize.
German.
Yes. Perfect. Tell Henderson that he needs to do that. Okay. Are there questions on Peak? Peak is free. Sketch is free. Sketch is available on the web. It's available lots of other places, but the Evernote is only on the iPad. Okay, Sketch. Okay, it's free. They just added Windows in October to this mix. So you open up Sketch as an app on the iPad, and it gives you a choice of picking a picture. You can draw on a map. You can start with a blank note. And if you start with a blank note, it could be like a whiteboard, or you can capture something from the web. I decided to capture something from the web. And then I went to this site, and I kind of scribbled on it. See how it has like a little pen in Sketch, and it's pink? This would be great for read, write, talk, because you can have them circle and underline and square and do all these things to a website, a picture, a document, basically anything you upload to Sketch. And Sketch is on the internet. I mean, it's web. You don't have to have the iPad to use Sketch. I have it on my Mac. I haven't downloaded it on my Windows system yet, but I intend to. It saves something in Sketch notes, but look, you go on back to Evernote and it has a notebook called Sketch. I didn't create the notebook called Sketch. It decided to create it for me and integrate it with Evernote, and that's where I find my sketch drawings, or what they call it, mock-ups, where you mess with something that's already there and show it. So it's automatically saved into the folder. And that's the two apps that I wanted to feature. I could go on forever and tell you about apps that integrate with Evernote. In fact, I might have to post a list because they keep on adding to it. There's something called Evernote Trunk, and if you go in your Evernote app and you go to the Evernote Trunk, you'll find that they keep on adding apps that you can, share in Evernote. Like when you share, it says share in Evernote, or that are integrated with Evernote. And even since the Georgia ETC conference, they've added a whole bunch more. So they keep on adding to that. So Evernote, you could use it to organize your resources, such as websites, like if they're doing research. You can go to you can save primary source documents. We have a teacher here who has the app for the digital archives, and she will save the primary source document to her iPad and then bring it up in class on her smartboard, the dongle. Do that. These I would recommend to use for studying. Kids would actually quite enjoy it. Two kids with an iPad going back and forth and quizzing each other. And Sketch, you could either rewrite talk, you could add images and draw on them for fun or for purpose. If you wanted to emphasize something, you could bring up a document or an article or a picture and you could draw on it on your own. And if you are hooked into the smartboard, your dongle or some of the software that we recommend, like Siri or Splashtop, that you can display that on the screen. And also, if you start with a blank document, you can write on it like a smartboard. And so that's basically it. If you have questions, you know where to find me.
I want to show you something called Socrative. This is something I think you really use. How many of you have seen the clickers and you thought, boy, I wish I had a set of those in my room, but they're so expensive and so forth. Socrative is a way to do that. And Socrative will work. Well, let me just play their demo if I can get to go here. And they probably say it a lot more simply than I can.
Welcome to Socrative. We're here to help teachers make classes more engaging and interactive and spend less time grading. The nature of Socrative is so that teachers initiate activities and prompts the students with questions, and the students respond to those questions on their smartphones or laptops. Here's a quick demo of how it works. The left screens will represent me, the teacher. The right two screens will represent my students. Socrative can run on any device with internet access. Laptops, smartphones, tablet computers, iPod touches, anything. So the teacher opens up a browser and goes to t.socrative.com. Here I enter my username and password. And then I log in. So once I log in, I see the control center. I see a few things. One is my room number that I've chosen for myself. In my case, it's room number 8, and there's no other active members in the room yet. And there's a bunch of activities that we can do with the students. So first I can tell my students, go to m.socrative.com on their smartphone, laptop, and join my room. Room number is 8. So now both students have joined the room. They're waiting for my input, and you can see that the active users in the room went up to 2. Okay, let's start up with something easy. Let's ask for some multiple choice questions. So here I say to my students, on a range from A to E, how well do you understand the material? So one student really gets it, so they enter A. The other students don't get it as well, so they answer C. and the results show instantly on my screen. Click in the activity and try something else. Let's do a quiz with the students. So I load a pre-made quiz. I start the quiz, and I can see so far that 0 of the students have completed the quiz. So on the student side, the student on their iPod Touch enter their name. So the first question is, when is MIT founded? Let's try 1861. Good job! Right answer. The other student puts in the wrong answer. Next question. Where's MIT located? Cambridge. And then one student finished the quiz, and we'll see those results show up on my screen. The next student enters the answer and finished the quiz. And we can see that 2 students have completed the quiz. Now the students are done. I can end the activity and it sends a report automatically to my email address. So I open up my email. I see that I got a report. And when I open up the report, I can see the results. So I can see that one student got the question wrong and another got it right. And I can get my students' feedback instantly. So those are just 2 of many activities. But try it for yourself today at Socrative.com.
You create an account. There's a teacher account and a student account. This will work on any device that will get on the internet. Okay, so you're basically just using the internet for this. But iPads will get on the internet. iPod Touches will get on the internet. So you can use this to make iPod Touches. Student response things, smartphones. If we are, you've heard the new superintendent talk about BYOT. If we implement a BYOT, kids could use smartphones. Now, I don't know how many elementary kids have smartphones, but I'd be surprised, probably quite a few. In some schools anyway, but smartphones, iPads, iPods, laptops, computers, anything that runs the internet will do this. You're limited to 50 users per activity. I know class sizes are going up, but I doubt that you're going to have more than 50 in a class anytime soon. So you should be okay as far as that goes. You join. You can actually create a class. Now they give you initially a class number. That's something crazy number that I couldn't remember, but you can make up. Now, if your name is Smith, I'm sorry, that's probably already taken. But you can actually, my class name is actually just Hargett. So when students can actually log in, if you would like to, you actually will go into m.socrative.com. So, on your device, you can go there and do the student login on m.socrative.com. And you would see something like this. And you just simply put in my room number, which is Hargett. Not a number, I know, but it's easier for me to remember. And so you put in Hargett and you say join the room. Okay? And now I can switch back to me. All right, now you'll see that I have some options here. You can do like a clicker. You can just do random questions, for kind of things like how many of you that are logged in, 5 of you at this point. I'm waiting for a response. How many of you think you might could use this, or you would like to use this in your classroom? So I'm waiting for these people. 5 out of 6. You know how easy that was? You know, okay, now I got 6 out of 8. So I keep adding new students here. You know, that's the issue. So you can do this, and you can get immediate feedback like the clickers. And like I say, this is free except for the fact that you know you have to have the iPads or the iPods or the smartphones or something. Oh yeah, this is just things on the fly as far as things go.
How do you interpret the question?
All right, now, you'll notice you can do multiple choice questions and different things. You can save questions. I actually have, there's some pre-made questions. Now they, a save quiz, they have a demo quiz that's in here. I actually did one, and just to see if I could do it, I took an anatomy and terminology. Where's Ruth? We were talking about that technical terminology. I learned a new one today, but I've got a bunch of them in here too. So there's about 100 questions in that anatomy terminology. I wanted to see how easy it was to do. There's a template, a spreadsheet. It's an Excel spreadsheet. You put your question in one column, and then your 4 choices, or 5, depending on how to do it, in the next 4 columns over. So you've got your question, and I actually took a Word document and kind of copy and paste most of that in there. So I did not type 100 questions into those boxes. It took a little bit, but I copied and pasted all those questions into the spreadsheet. Then you upload the spreadsheet. Let me go ahead and turn it on.
He says your teacher is a slacker. He's on. Yeah. I'm just saying what it says, Jeff. I'm not saying it.
Let's say. All right. Do you have some results? Can you do it now?
Yes.
All right. I stopped talking and pressed the button. And so I am. That one was completed. Actually, I put it on student pace. You can actually control it so that we all do the question at the same time, and we don't, move on until everybody's answered the question. Or you can say student pace, and everybody just goes at their own speed. And it will. This is not the 100 question quiz. This is like 3 or 4 questions. And I can have it email me the report, or I can simply download the report. And you'll see down at the lower left, over the bottom, it says quiz report. It's given it to me in a spreadsheet. And I open that up, and I'm seeing, oh yeah, Teresa's in there twice. And I got scores over on the right. Now we don't see names, but we can see. As you got pushed for time at the end, the scores That's actually quite easy to do. Can you imagine grade homework? If you had a set of these in your room, you could put these questions and answers in ahead of time, and it's great.
And you can save these, and then you can clear it out and put it in the next class that we have. Don't they all have 3 classes? It's top 50 with all 3 classes.
Well, no, but I mean they would be doing it at 3 separate times. So yeah, you could pick the at a time. Then when they end the activity for first period and then go to second period,
I thought it was 50 minus all.
Yeah, no, I believe it's just 50 can be on at a time. Yeah. All right. My time's about gone. Let me try to switch and do one other thing quickly. I just wanted to briefly mention digital storytelling, because I was told originally when they were talking about getting iPads. That was one of the things they were interested in. We had an earlier conversation. They were talking about you can't go on all these field trips and actually see the erosion and whatever. These things have fantastic cameras on them. You could actually go around and video the neighborhood, video examples.
Practice makes perfect. Connor, called my mother. Yeah, I yelled back. Practice time. Ooh, those words went through a boy's ears like a wolf staring at a plump chicken. I'm coming, I said in a grouchy voice. I did not like to practice. So I tried to sneak an extra 5 minutes, but it turned out to be 3 minutes instead. Connor, screamed my mother at the top of her lungs. Yikes, I wailed. I rushed out of the room and to the piano. Your recital is in 2 days, snapped my mother. Furthermore, never ever try to sneak an extra 5 minutes again. Yes, ma'am, I said, very frightened. I started to play. I could tell my mom was still mad at me. I tried to play the best I could to make her feel better. The next day, my brother asked me to go play tennis. I said yes. Great, he said. Now I can finally have some fun instead of sitting there in front of the piano playing song after song. I agreed, but I still did not feel the same way he did. That night, I could not get to sleep because I still had the recital on my mind. It was just the what ifs. What if I messed up? What if I tripped when I bowed? You know, those types of things. The next morning, I had to dress up fancy and eat a quick breakfast. When we got there, my mom told me not to worry, but I was not so sure. A lady stood at the front of the room. She had a list of piano students in her hand, a microphone in the other hand, and announced my name. Wow, I thought. I made my way up to the huge piano. I started to play. Yikes! I messed up on one of the easiest parts of the piece, but I did not give up. I messed up once more at the end. Really, all I cared about was if I got a good grade. After it was over, a judge handed me my paper. I knew that if you got 3 superiors in a row, you'd win the gold cup. If I got one, it would be my first. I looked at my paper. I was surprised. It was a superior. All right, I said. 2 more to go. Like I always say, practice makes perfect.
A lot of that was going to be still pictures, and then as you move from one still picture to the other, the iPads take wonderful still pictures. Of course, putting them together and adding the sound. There is an app that I've been, a lot of things like iMovie and some of those things cost, and especially if you're talking now, you want one on every. If the kids are going to be doing this in class, we need something free. Found something yesterday called Splice. It's an app called Splice. Now it's free, but that's an app called Splice. And then of course there's the movie version. Remember?
Hi, I'm Jimmy Lucas, and I'm here to tell you about one of the greatest tragedies of all time. And you can read about it in this book, The Titanic. The Titanic was a huge ship built a long time ago.
That's another example
People thought it
of
was
storytelling.
invincible, but they were wrong. When dark.
And but you could do the same types of things. So you could book reports, whatever. You could do the stages of the butterfly life cycle. Kids could sit there and do short little things on that as well with the iPads. Like I said, they can take pictures, they can get video. They can narrate. It's probably easier. They can even do drawings. You saw, I guess, Connor with his practice makes perfect. Occasionally, you can throw in a hand-drawn picture that they can made a picture of it as well. So there's a lot of different ways and things that you can incorporate. And like I said, with any subject area, with a process, whether it's explaining a process, how to do something, like say a butterfly life cycle or something of that nature. So you can, it doesn't have to be, a story like that, which might start off with, as they're learning how to do it, an easier story where they're not having to come up with the facts, a story about themselves or whatever, where they know all the facts, then you learn how to do it, and then you can transfer to something where they have to come up with the facts and get the facts right, and they're not having to concentrate on two things at once.